There's 2 ultrasounds I have.
This is Charlie Kirk saying arguably the most unhinged thing I've heard of 2024 thus far.
One is a baby conceived in one is a baby conceived by a loving couple. Which one is which?
Bro. Where y'all is find these, bro? And I wish that was the worst part of this video, but Pearl, who I just found out was a snow bunny today. Oh God. And as ambassador of the Ashi Negro delegation, I make the motion to move her expeditiously.
I started interviewing men that had been what's called divorce raped.
Today's adventure takes us into the weird world of men's rights, where we not only confront these troglodytes, but I confront myself with the uncomfortable reality of being feminist whilst also occupying this masculine body. And I challenge you on some things that I hope you're ready to talk about on today's Foreign Friday.
It's a foreign man in a foreign land.
So I just have one question. There's, like, in any case, you don't think there's any case where abortion should be legal?
There's a very, very rare couple cases.
Okay, so you...
Sorry, I jumped into this very quickly, but I want to address some criticisms, right? Because lots of folks be thinking that they doing a gotcha when they make these criticisms against me, not knowing no one could criticize me more than I criticize myself. And that criticism is my masculine feminism. Some claim that it's pandering. And while the thought that me being intentional about making a space that is safe for women and femmes is pandering, that says far more about the person levying these criticisms and concerns than the concerns themselves. But I do reflect on my role in making videos where my rhetoric is extremely intersectionally feminist. I reflect on being lumped with the mandem that call themselves feminists, because I don't like to call myself feminist. And I'd say this right now, be wary of them. Just like we should have been wary of Derek Jackson. I mean, Black Woman was trying to tell us about Derek Jackson, but be wary of us too. Be wary of FD Signifier, Noah Sampson, anybody occupying this masculine vessel, but claiming to fight for the femstem. Because unfortunately, we still have been subject to masculine programming, and that will rear its head from time to time. Since we're talking about patriarchal talking points, I need to get this small face together real quick. I need to collect this small face man. I tell you, every time when I see him, his face just getting smaller and his head just getting bigger.
Why are so many blacks committing murders outside of their population?
How your head that big, but your face take up 30% of it?
If cesarean section is not going to save the...
Why you just couldn't say C-section like a normal person, huh?
The mother's life is actually at risk, which is debated amongst growing numbers of OBGYNs.
If you getting cut open, don't you think your life at risk? I don't even need to be MD foreign right now. If I cutting the gal up, if I cutting the gal belly open, how you gonna say whole face? Well, you know, in the case of his face, undercase face, lowercase face. How you gonna bald face lie and say that, oh, there ain't no real consequences of getting split open? How? House?
Numbers of OBGYNs.
Okay.
That is the only case where abortion should be
Do you
allowed.
think there
but people say it is a growing consensus in the pro-life world that abortion is never medically necessary.
Okay.
Not only is lying, but dangerously lying, bro. My wife was pregnant, right? And we got into the hospital. And I got to the doctor and like we met the doctor first time, right? I asked them, I was just like, at what point would you perform a C-section at some point? I was just like, in what cases, what scenarios and like what circumstances would you be performing a C-section? And they said that that's the last resort. At that point, I felt more comfortable because disproportionate amount of black mothers die when giving birth. Forget about the child making it. The mothers don't be making it. My nana, I know you watching this right now, Nana. Sorry, I could talk your business. To excoriate these folks. My Nana, Hama, died during childbirth. It is not only him lying when he says something like this, but it's extremely irresponsible and downright dangerous because someone is going to parrot this and like they ain't be able to even say where they get it from. Oh yeah, sorry. I just like really like dropped like a big triggering bomb inside there by just like, we need at some point to have like a discussion about like the Caribbean urge to trivialize extremely traumatic situations. I think that it is a matter of a defense mechanism but I've been like trying to deal with that myself because like I don't even be realizing how traumatic some of the things that I be saying. I don't even think it's a Caribbean thing. I genuinely think like it's a Black experience, especially because if you don't laugh, you'll cry, you know? And I think that like one of the ways that especially Caribbean people losing their entire houses to hurricanes, slave plantations, the amount of trauma that the Caribbean experience is synonymous with, you at a particular point begin to find ways to cope with it. Like the brain is an amazing organ and muscle as it pertains to just like how it will survive. And like at times, like you have to make light of it so that you could survive. Because if you feel the full brunt of it when it happens, or like when you say it, you just sometimes don't have the privilege of feeling the full brunt of it because that could be the last straw. You know what I mean?
You had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped. And she was going to give birth and she would, and she was going to give birth and she was going to live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
These dangerous, you know, hold on. Let me wheel the thing back up.
Okay. So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped and she was going to give birth and she would, and she was going to give birth and she was going to live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
He's trying to sensationalize what she's saying, despite it being a real thing that happens quite a bit. A lot of people in the places that are most affected by the fact that Roe v. Wade is overturned, afterwards trying to say, calm down, like that level of patronization, especially to a woman right now.
Go through that and carry her baby.
That's awfully graphic.
But it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Oh, okay, great. So that's insane.
But let me tell
Bruh, I didn't even think that he would entertain the hypothetical. But the fact that man could just say she will carry the baby to term is mad.
All right, no, hold on. Let me ask you a question. There's 2 ultrasounds I have. One is a baby conceived in one is a baby conceived by a loving couple. Which one is which?
Bro. Where y'all is find these, bro? Tell Jacob to stop. For the love of God, the white people that they making is saying that it's okay for 10-year-olds that are victim of sexual assaults to carry pregnancy to term because you don't know the difference between a fetus that is a conception of versus a fetus that is not.
Do you truly, in your heart of hearts, truly believe that this is a human being? This,
Without a doubt.
without a doubt,
Yes.
this is a dolphin fetus.
So let me.
Without a doubt, a dolphin fetus is a human being. This is a human fetus. Look how similar they look, but quite different. Dolphin. You just confirmed that a dolphin, in life, do you confuse dolphins for human babies often?
So let me
you
ask
go to
you a question.
SeaWorld and you're like, someone's got human babies in that aquarium. Get the human babies out of the aquarium.
Well, you labeled it as a human fetus.
No,
so
I
you
did not.
That dishonestly.
No, I did not.
But
I didn't label it as anything.
Doesn't
say human fetus on there.
That's the white people that you're all dealing with. I'm sorry, the white people that I deal with, the only problem that I got with them is the fact that they like to put grapes in potato salad. That's the only problem I got with the white people that I be dealing with. Personally, in my personal life, that's the problem that I got. They like to put grapes in my potato salad. This different though. Bahamians, you all know, I went to the white people them food store all the way out deep west, Fresh Market, pick up yourself, where the white people are shop, because they're the only people that have kombucha on the island, right? And I needed some kombucha because like I said, my gut health is just atrocious right now. I going up inside there and I asked the woman for the potato salad. I say where the potato salad is. Say the potato salad over there. I get over there and I can see the shrivel up raisins. Listen, I almost had a conniption inside there. You talking about raisins overhated? I about to ban you. Can I please get you listed to the small face man? Please.
Your daughter was hopefully conceived by a somewhat loving couple.
Conceived by? Tell me which one was conceived by?
You don't know.
Exactly, because it's all human rights and
But
it's all human
that
beings.
doesn't matter. But it's about your daughter who has to give birth to it.
How you smiling, bro?
Loving couple. Which one is which?
Your daughter was hopefully conceived by a somewhat loving couple.
Conceived by? Tell me which one was conceived by?
You don't know.
Exactly, because it's all human rights.
But
and
Excited to own a gal talking about his 10-year-old daughter having to carry a conception of sexual assault to term and smiling ear to ear. I mean, he trying to smile ear to ear, but the face can't make it. Dead happy. Dude, dead happy to tell shorty that, listen, if my 10-year-old daughter actually got sexually assaulted and took it to term, nobody would know. Except for the gal, bro. Like, except for the... I'm about to warm myself up for Jubilee, right? This is the appetizer, this is the hors d'oeuvre for Jubilee.
I was struggling to bring my TV, fit it into my car. It was in a big box. It's a 55-inch. It could barely fit into this car. I'm sitting out here struggling to get this in my car. Men are walking back and forth. No one is trying to help me.
You see, there's a reason for...
You see, let me tell you something. Because you came up on side here sounding like Luther Vandross, sounding like an ASMR.
Decades ago, you wouldn't have needed help. The men would have done it for you. The thing is, the world has changed. Women have changed.
Yeah, the world has changed. You don't have to consort and marry and ball and chain yourself to a man that you don't like just to get a bank account.
I tend to do a lot. I tend to imagine, what if I was a man?
I'm fatally cis and terminally het, right? But like, is that an egg moment? Oh God, 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 God.
What would I be doing today? Would I help women? Truthfully, when I think about it, no, absolutely not. Even if my instinct as a man is leaning toward chivalry, I'm not going to help. There's a number of reasons for that. A lot of times, when men are doing nothing wrong, they end up on the internet because the wind blew something into their eye and they might have winked and someone filmed it.
This lady seems to be making a lot of presumptions of the reason why altruism is a thing. If you, as a man, I know that phrase in itself, honestly cancerous, but bear with me. If you as a man are doing things for the women in femstem, for the sole purpose of some type of reward, you doing it for the wrong reasons. No one is owed another one's efforts, period. You're really not owed anything but taxes and death. This is for everybody. I'm free use foreign right now. Y'all can enjoy this. Subscriber or not.
And then you end up on TikTok as some kind of perv.
For real though, Dulcie, is that a brony? Do you have a brony profile picture?
What is a brony? Oh, brother, you're about to be so upset you just asked that.
So a brony is someone that's interested in the Man of the Pony, more specifically Friendship is Magic, the fourth generation of shows.
It's a term basically that refers to a fan in the same way that Trekker does for Star Trek or Whovian does for Doctor Who. Basically someone who's a fan of the franchise, watches the show.
That is a brony. Yes, it is literally any full-grown man over the age of 25 obsessed with My Little Pony. And I'm just gonna say it, I don't trust him. Can you please get this off my screen? I told you were gonna regret it.
Yeah, but if you have a brony profile picture, you need to get off my stream immediately. No bronies allowed. I am actually brony phobic. I feel like you's a brony, let me get you off the screen, Dulcie, because that's a rat. Okay, if it's a rat, then I'm sorry. I just publicly pilloried you for no reason, Dulcie. Big up yourself, username 159. I'm sorry, but where was this lady that there wasn't an employee that couldn't be asked? Whenever I've bought a large object, the cashier has always asked me, I needed loading assistance, and the big ticket items like TVs can often be delivered for free. Honestly, I've never been asked that. This is the men's right part. This is the nuance when it comes to the men's right thing. People might be asking y'all out there for help if y'all lifting something heavy, but they always assume that I got it. They always assume that my big ass can lift that TV from here to high water. There is a meta of which we have made entertainment out of people being human. So a slide into a gal DM and then the gal posts the DM online. We've engendered an environment where it is unpopular to love. You now have created an environment where we don't show love. We are afraid and reticent to show love, to make eye contact, simply because we're afraid that people could take that to a different reason, and we don't want to be caught as the person losing in the game of love. And we have defined the parameters of the game, the rule set of the game of love, to be the person who loves less wins.
And what if she was 17 years old?
Okay, so you lost me there. That's a self-report. How are people interacting with you that like it would be misconstrued if you helping a child with something that you was actually trying to do something? As a grown man, like if I see a child in distress and I go to help them, nobody thinking that big rusty charcoal looking man trying to do something inappropriate with that child. Very confused.
And then you end up on the internet as some kind of creep pursuing young girls. It's just too dangerous.
It's too dangerous. They had children. She knows who her audience is for real though. Just straight predators. Just straight predators in the chat. But that's really sad, Lord, sad face. Because that just means that all throughout growing up, at some point, she probably was looking for help. And the authority figure that she sought help from was a predator. Chat, man as a concept, right? Because gender ain't real. Let's get that out of the way quick. But man as a concept is an escape. It's an escape from what the human condition has been in the past. For most of our existence, we weren't predators like we wanted to believe, That's revisionist history. Nah, bro. We were prey. We were prey for much larger animals. Man as a concept is an attempt to reimagine ourselves as the predators. And predators need prey. That's women.
You don't know when you're going to be the next viral sensation. You don't know when you're the next guy getting your life ruined. You don't know when a woman is going to lash out at you because you might be helping her and she takes offense in that. I was a man, I would not deal with this. Why would any man in his right mind help a modern woman?
There is, of course, an industry, a cottage industry of pick-me's that are performing patriarchal talking points for attention in this attention-based economy. This is one, Pearl is another, and we're about to get into. It's every streamer's rites of passage to react to a Jubilee video. And today is that day. Men's rights activists versus feminists. Once you say men's rights, it just sounds like a dog whistle for misogyny. Men's rights isn't the full word, a men's rights to hate women. Jubilee is boss level rage bait, and we need to make that clear. Jubilee is a CIA psyop. Bruh. Jubilee exists and solely exists to piss people off. They bring things up for debate that should not be up for debate. As it pertains to particular human rights, Big Body Foreign, we got a why, because why my gal always in your comment section, bro? Why you doing this here, bro? Why you doing this here, dog? Your gal in the foreign land, bro? You in the foreign land too, man. Use the brethren, dog. Take up yourself, man. Don't do that here, though. Don't talk about it here. Why you gotta crash out inside the chat, bro? You know I got ADHD, bro. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm very glad that the one black person here is not a men's rights activist. That's just free use for it. So chat, and let me know if I'm wrong here, right? But when we encounter men's rights activists, it's often in the form of these past denied type. You know what I'm talking about. Them man that says, didn't you want to be equal? Very saucily, you know what I mean? When the fact of the matter is, equality in a patriarchal society is not equality. How you in a race where a man and woman running, right? We talking in binaries. A man and woman running, and the woman have an anchor around her leg. And then by the 10th lap, you take the anchor off. How you gonna say that's fair? Chat, you know that we about to get into white women feminism inside this video, right? Because white women feminism and men's rights, honestly, probably have a lot more in common than we care to admit. But let's get back into it.
And we also need to remember men's rights activism. While they do have some genuine plights, it started out as a combatant to feminism.
My
so
boy!
I feel like they laid the groundwork off of very...
Men's rights is specifically centered not as a upliftment or an empowerment of men or a rebuttal and repudiation of patriarchy. The main thing that is killing men, men's rights, isn't as much as it is enfranchisement of men as it is disenfranchisement of women. Chat, you see the whole thing about this, right? Visionary feminism at its core is the mission to end patriarchal domination of men, women, everything outside of and in between. Women and femmes inside the chat, listen here, y'all get mad with me. I don't care, because listen, y'all gotta hear it. Hey, tired it. On the feminist journey, when we are finding our way into liberation from patriarchy in a patriarchal society, there is this proclivity that we have. And I say we because I have done it myself. I am healing from it myself. And there's a proclivity that we have to, instead of finding feminism we end up finding misandry. The nuance is that a lot of misandry gets mistaken for feminism. And a lot of what we don't want to admit is that a lot of our feminism is man-centric. It's just in a different way. Where patriarchy is man-centric as far as it's OPing men, this particular brand of feminism is man-centric because it's anti-men. It's the brand of feminism that got some of the gal them, the women and femmes them inside the chat, inside some of my comment sections, saying that we shouldn't, why are black women still giving birth to black men? That's what that is. I'm mad at y'all, I understand that that's stemming from a particular hurt, a particular type of pain. But let me tell you something. You are not going to find liberation in hating men. You are not going to hate men into liberation. Just like I have to tell my 6-month-old child that, son, there's no way that you are going to find sleep at the end of this bottle. Listen, and I'm saying this for myself as well. The unfortunate truth is man them learn about patriarchy and then they want to get on board with ending it, right? But they ain't really want to close it down, They don't really want to close down the storefront of patriarchy. They just want more flexible hours. They just want to remove the parts that we don't like. Provide and protect, emotional stoicism, courtship norms. But if you seriously want to do away with the patriarchy, then you got to do away with it. And not only do I doubt that men at large want to do away with what they believe are rights, but are actually just buffs that were built over centuries of patriarchy. But you all ain't like to hear this. A lot of the women and femmes them don't want to do away with it either. The unfortunate truth is a lot of women and femmes like patriarchy too.
I think it's been hijacked by a lot of bad faith actors who blame women for problems that you should blame the patriarchy.
Exactly.
Is this nigga men's rights? Is he men's rights?
Men are 4 times as likely to, I don't know what the TikTok version of the phrase is.
It's not that women are not trying to themselves, but it's more so that men are more successful at themselves. I think that is a important point in the discussion because it speaks to the fact that whatever ailment that men are facing that is driving them to take themselves out the game is the same ailment to the extent that women are as well. They're just not successful at it. The fact that I'm having trouble placing him in men's rights, I think that might actually speak more to me than it does to him. Or the fact that it just has a branding issue. It's the same way that abolish the police had a branding issue and that's why it didn't take off. If we were able to probably put more onus on the fact that we're abolishing the police so that we could put more resources into the things that prevent the crimes in the first place that police are policing, put that in brackets, but that wouldn't fit well on a t-shirt, right? So the MRA was born out of Warren Farrell's misogynistic turn from white feminism specifically. Okay. Men's liberation evolved directly out of the feminist movement and took an intersectional approach. That's the same way that white women feminism put black women in particular under the bus. If you even look at Carrie Chapman, that suffrage movement in particular, white women were trying to appeal to white men to enfranchise them. But what they were talking about did not have any type of real protections or enfranchisement for black women. And they were ambivalent towards the idea that black men would get some type of political enfranchisement. However, black women, they were not even considering black women in that equation at all. That's the case pretty much for any inception of all of these different banners of freedom. If you look back at John Locke, not to get all political science, political theory, but if you look back at John Locke and the way that America was a departure from British monarchy and trying to get away from King Georgeism and looking bravely into an idea of a country built not on a homogeneous population, but more so on an idea, on an experiment, on values, not on religion. When America was being written, when it was being forged, everybody was in on this idea of yeah, this sounds great. This is a bold experiment that this is going to be very different from British monarchy that was the mode for the most part, especially in the West. Everybody was on board with that. This Constitution even when it was discussing freedom, even when it was discussing liberation, was only specifically speaking to a liberation of a particular experience. That did not include people of my hue. It did not include people that were queer. It did not include disabled folk. It did not include anybody that did not fit in a particular mold. We see that in the creation of America. We see that in, of course, white feminism. Unfortunately, we don't like to talk about it, but we see that too in cases of Black revolution and civil rights. One of the reasons why civil rights had a rocky start and the reason why the Black Panthers ended up failing, one of the big reasons was the fact that the Black masculine leaders in those groups did not give enough credence and enough support to the Black women. And the Black women were the main reason why those very Black masculine leaders, why your MLKs and your Malcolm X's were able to do political might, were able to act in the polis, in the political centers, and to do those talks and to do those marches and to engage politically. Anytime when you see anything like that happening, there is a lion's share, an omen's work that is being done of invisible people. And those invisibles are typically Black women and femmes. They're having to do the labor as far as not only the domestic labor and the things that are quotidianly reserved for Black women in these cases, but they're also doing the emotional labor of having to deal with those Black masculine leaders doing what they wanted to do. I mean, if you ever have to talk about even Gandhi and all them, yeah, Gandhi racist and all them, but also misogynist. MLK, if you read Malcolm X's autobiography, raving misogynist. A lot of the women in their lives had to lead extremely limited lives in order to enable the political activism that granted the freedom for the rest of the world. And they are not thanked. They are not thought of. They are forgotten. They are Ivan Ilyich. They are the definition of Ivan Ilyich, Tolstoy. But they planted seeds for shade from trees that they knew fully well they would not be able to lay under. They planted seeds for trees that would provide shade long after they are gone. I feel like we are so cynical. And when I say we, I mean me. I feel like we're so cynical that we wouldn't even give this a chance. But so far, this is healing. It's great to see men, wiping their ass, not being overtly misogynist and not bonding over that very misogyny. And, discussing the plight of the masculine experience productively. Thick logic is mad. Othelius, you are literally persona non grata.
So the perspective that I come from was about 3 years ago, I wanted to know why men didn't want to get married anymore.
So y'all telling me Pearl was a snow bunny? How y'all know that though?
And it kind of took me down the rabbit hole of family court. I started interviewing men that had been what's called divorce raped. And I...
Did she say grape? Oh God. Why? Why did she do that? Why did she do that? She could have just said the word, and the way that these be edited in these videos, they could have easily just put a censor over it. She didn't have to say grape.
And it kind of took me down the rabbit hole of family court. I started interviewing men that had been what's called divorce raped.
Is this a term? There's so much wrong with that. I'm going to move myself just so I could have this part, this term, etched in history. There's so much wrong with equating what is literally the snatching of a soul. There's a reason why I never pacify that word. Because it, as a word, is one of the most heinous things in the human condition that a human could do to another human. And she equated that experience to getting divorced. Bro, she can't be white talking about grapes like that. Oh God, no man, no. This could get bad. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't see this nigga. Where y'all find this, babe? You got Venn diagram, diesel, This looked like the boy that have the Trump shirt. You know who I talking about, chat? And then you got Ian, the rapper Ian, that is be dressing like a frat boy. You got them back to back like Lethal Weapon. And this boy crunch in between Pearl and Vin Diesel. Lord of his mercy.
$100,000.
Ain't no way you could beat my dog. No, I'll backflip off that. Wait, are we blocked? Chat, are we blocked? How are we blocked? I'm not saying what y'all are saying. What are you all saying?